Hey, good evening, everybody. It is September the 18th, 2025, the Lord of the year of Sigmar, our Savior, and we are here with our Flesh Eater Court episode. As always, we have the lovely Connor, the fantastical Rich, and joining us today is Alex from Broken Ranks, who is one of our more successful Flesh Eater Court players in the club.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Alex is fairly new to the club. I think you've been with us for about a year now, right?
Yeah, because I only started playing in fourth edition, so
so less than a little over a year then. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, tell us a little bit about what brought you to Sigmar, and if you know what if you came from anything else.
yeah, no, I started collecting boxes, or I started collecting a pile of shame probably like 3 years ago, mostly with 40K. But as I started building and assembling, I just kind of slowly like side shifted into Sigmar, mostly because I just prefer combat. It's not fun for you shoot, I shoot, and we see who's standing. It's more
Sure.
fun to me from like a narrative perspective, like get in there with combat and have a bit more going on. And so I just kind of naturally fell into Sigmar, and so I started building like as soon as I knew that fourth was coming. I started building all my flesh eaters like 4 months before the edition started, and like brush up on all the rules. So then, like once the edition actually started, I like just jumped in. And I think the first couple games I played, actually, Carlos was at RTT you hosted like uh, uh last fall.
Yes. Yeah.
And like since I remember I remember getting the wooden spoon there. And then 'cause those were my literally first 3 games. And then from there, just kind of being hooked and playing, trying to get to an event every month at least.
Hell yeah.
That's so two things to note. One, the trend continues of coming from 40K technically, right? And,
Mhm.
and then
I'm the only one who hasn't.
Yep.
If you count me not having ever played a game of 40K, I have not.
I'm counting. I'm still counting you.
I-
So.
Just because I bought $50 worth of Necrons, and by $50 I paid $50 for like $400 worth of Necrons at the time or something. It was an insane amount. I have
Yeah.
like 3,500 points of old Necrons. It's wild.
And also the second thing is your Sigmar journey, Alex, has been like the definition of the meme. Oh, I understand it now, because like you got the wooden spoon, and ever since then, like you've been one of the more formidable opponents in this club, as far as just like um your records and just the way you play. Like yeah, it's been wild. I immediately after you got the wooden spoon, and then just immediately after your second event, I was like, oh, broken ranks rookie of the year. I was like, calling it now.
Yeah. Well, once I figured out that you shouldn't just like yeet your army forward, and you should actually like try to stand back and like come up with some sort of strategy, the game got a lot easier. And I started being more successful.
Yep. So got to stand on circles to win. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. Eventually, we'll eat you, but
Yeah.
gotta drag it out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. What have everybody else? What have you guys been up to? What's got you excited these days?
Oh man. I mean, I got Short Kings coming in the next like week and a half, so I've pretty much been preparing for that. Rich and I had a TTS game last Saturday, I think it was.
Yeah, we played games back to back basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played each other on Friday,
Played each other
last
on
Friday
Friday.
in our league game. That was super exciting because that was a Daryl's dance of elven shenanigans for 5
Oh,
whole
yeah.
rounds.
5 whole rounds of
And
elves
then
just shooting each other across the board, and Altharian slapping everyone who walked near him. It was a great time. All fun was had
hunting.
by all.
Oh yeah. And then Saturday we tried Chaos Dwarves and Thiefkin, and it was rough as a first start. Also, I'm not used to TTS, so I definitely was not giving one rat's ass about how my stuff was looking at all, which definitely played into that. But learning it was fun. Lots of mistakes were made, and that's okay. I don't learn by doing everything perfectly.
Yeah. Yep.
Very few people do.
But it was good to see, and even though it was a matchup that was very much against, I think, the castors just in general, because Rich has a very good IDK list, flat out, great against a lot of armies. I think with how obscuring works and how I'd have a lot of shooting mitigation built in, as they always have, that's never changed since their inception.
Mm.
That it made it hard, but we had plenty of moments where it's like, oh, if I was exposed by even half an inch, I would have been so cooked.
Yeah, there were like, even just setting up if the first thing was like, and Victor pointed out, he's like, hey, watch out for the bombard, and I'm like looking at my units and I'm like, oh, he could target the shark with my bomb. He could target the shark that I've placed right here with his bombard and hit all of my heroes for maybe 3 mortal wounds, and I'm like,
Yeah, the Death Shrieker rocket would have done that. It's like, yeah, no, he just picks things up. It gets really, it's like, ooh, look, half of your stuff is halfway dead. Let's go.
But like everything I had was obscured except for the shark, because the shark is a flying cavalry unit that can't be obscured.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he's within 3 of my soul render. Oh, he's just going to die there, isn't he? So luckily it was during my deployment, so I was able to move the shark.
Yeah,
to
no,
be
you
not as
you did
murdered.
exactly. I was talking with some of the guys afterwards, and I was definitely like Jamie, Mike, and everything else. It was the best way we described it was like, this is your worst case scenario at a tournament right here, and you still had outs. And if I knew the army better, I may have been able to play to them better, which goes to show that I think this is going to have a strong start.
Yeah,
and I'm excited. I'm so excited to learn this army. It's so cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching you guys play. It looked like a really good time. That one artifact, the petrifying
scroll of petrification.
That's the
scroll of
scroll.
petrification. Oh man, that's one of my favorite new abilities in Sigmar. Like that's insane.
It's a very cool one, and I didn't even realize it doesn't have to be just the guy carrying it. It's
No,
any unit within 12.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, you can put it on a
Yeah.
unit of Infernal Cohort that are about to get charged. You can put it on, like, if you've got Bull Centaurs that are out of position for like a counter charge situation. You can put it on them. The thing you have to watch out for when you do it, though, is that you got to remember that when you do that to the unit, they no longer count for like movement stuff. So like, they're not in. You're not in combat. Like, if you were in combat at the beginning, you're not in combat in the movement phase. You can be in combat. They basically become a piece of terrain with a tool board.
Fine by me.
In
Oh,
that
it's really
game,
good.
if I had known that, like, I didn't listen when Connor explained the thing. Like, if I had internalized that, my shark could have just walked away, and I would have still had a shark that had health, because I was like, oh, he's in combat, I can't leave. I should have listened when Connor explained it, and I probably would have been a little bit better off. But like,
It was okay.
It's still really
I was
good.
making plenty. Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do it. Jamie and I are hopefully gonna play tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes.
Where at?
Probably in our wonderful Discord server.
Oh, on TTS. Got
TTS.
it. Yes.
Damn, if only I wasn't playing Exoborn tomorrow. Fuck. Oh well. Can't win them all.
What a fuck dork.
I know, right?
That sucks. Yeah, I have stuff tomorrow too. Otherwise, I'd watch. I want to watch more. I want to watch more games. So
the Discord has had an explosion of TTS games.
Everyone's hungry after Windy City Wog.
Yeah. Everyone saw me win, and they're like, "Man, if that fucker can do it, I can do it too." which is the truest statement in existence. If I can win, if I can go 5-0 at a GT, you can go 5-0 at a GT. You can do
Stop
it. Believe it.
There you go.
Stop it. We had quite a few 4-1s though.
We did.
Yeah.
So,
But Rich, Alex, what have you guys really been up to?
Watching most of those TTS games, to be honest, and then playing you twice. Like those are the only games I've. Yeah, I watched Carlos and Zach play a couple days ago. I watched Sam and Trevor play last night. Just a lot of TTS, watching. A lot of TTS voyeurism, as they say.
Yeah, I've just been building a lot of Crypt Guard because they are very good. And I need them for Dragonfall.
Yeah,
it's so
2 weeks.
They're so silly.
Why do
they're great.
Why are they on a 3-0? Why are they just better wardens?
We'll learn. We will go over it soon.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll QQ about it.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, this first photo I want to highlight here that you viewers are seeing is actually from the lovely desk of Dustin. That's just his nice little hobby setup, and he's got some really cool Stormcast that he's working on. You can't see them. That's not the highlight of the photo, but they're going to be his like Deathcast Eternals. So I think he's outfitting them with like skulls and stuff, and those are going to be looking pretty cool. So yeah, thanks Dustin for letting us showcase your fantastic, much neater than my table back here, which is always a hot mess.
Much neater than my table, which has always been a hot mess.
Sure. And then next up we have two work in progresses from our Broken Ranks clubmates. On the left is some appropriate Flesh Eater Quartz. I believe those are Crypt Guard, correct?
Yeah, it was a Crypt Guard.
Yeah, we got some Crypt Guard. I love the ice theme he's going for. That looks pretty cool.
This is Sam's Crypt Guard, by the way.
This is Sam's Crypt Guard, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. The ice theme Flesh Eater Quartz look awesome whenever you see pictures of them. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he does with the whole army, because Sam's building his Flesh Eater Court stuff right now. He's been doing that for a while too. So
yeah, he won Oosh when they re-released the Oosh model at Dice Dojo RTT. Like,
is that when he won it?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Because we were there. I was there. I was playing Nurgle. Jake was there. Jake and I played in the last round. I played Sam in the round right before that to lose. This was tail end of 3rd edition. This was the Antor expedition. So Blizzard Wizards were bound. Rodigus, or not Rodigus. My Glotkin got one shot by a Blizzard Wizard Scragrot, like Blizzard Wizard Scragrot combination, with old Fangs of the Bad Moon and Blizzard. It was bad time. But yeah,
fantastic.
Sam, I think Sam won that event, or he got second, and he used the funds that he got to get Oosh, if I recall correctly.
Sure. And then on the right is your boy Jamie. That is actually his your friend Jamie. That is his chaos sorcerer. Looking hot. Love that lava base. I love lava bases, by the way.
Jamie is a really cool painter because he has found every way to just pump armies out in a matter of weeks. Like that man, the can sit down. If he focuses, he can get a 2,000 point army painted in a week.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many tricks you can use to get an army painted, as quickly and still look good on the table. And the reality is, when you're playing on the table, everything's always an arm's length away. So as long as it looks good from an arm's length away, like you're good to go.
Yeah, he does great work. It's always cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks great.
If y'all were everyone who was at Windy City WOG, if you saw a his Kragnos model. One, you laughed a little bit on the inside, and then you're like, "This is fun. This is."
I don't think I saw his Kragnos.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
I must have missed that.
you guys missed. I'll tell him to post it, and we'll have an intervention at some point.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a
Yeah,
good time.
please.
It is.
Yeah, post on the painting channel. Like post that Kragnos.
I'll let him know.
Sweet. We'd love to keep showcasing more people from the Discord, not just from Broken Ranks. So yeah, if you guys want us to show off your stuff, let us know. I don't think I technically asked Sam and Jamie, but they won't care. So Dustin, I asked for his permission.
That's fair.
If it's in the Discord, it's fair game, basically.
That was my thinking too, and I picked some works in progress that I thought were like pretty much done or like table ready and like could become mega parade ready if they wanted to. So
Mhm.
well, sweet. That's it for our pre-gaming here. Let's get it. That's it for the appetizer of today's of today's podcast. Let's get into the feast here. Flesh Eater Courts. Alex, my main flesh eater guy. How are you? I'll start with a general question before we get into the meat and potatoes. How are you feeling? Just a
I
general
yeah,
vibe check.
I'm feeling very good about the new book. Uh, it's it's interesting because the thing that we didn't have with the index version is internal balance. There really was none. There was like clear right answers of what you should be playing if you want to be competitive. Um, whereas this new book, like it's just almost everything is viable, which is interesting. Like there's a million different lists. There's so many different ways to actually put together something that can do work. That you're not going to see just the same 18 war bags. For example, at every single tournament, like you're going to see a lot of interesting things. There's some things that are obviously rising to the top already, but it's a very interesting book, and that there's so many things that are actually playable. That it has me excited. It's actually fun to write lists. It hasn't been fun to write lists in a while. Of like thinking about like different combinations. So it's a good time to be a flesh eater player.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was Flesh Eater Courts was one of those armies that I played against a lot, and every time I played against them, I felt like there was some new rule that I didn't really know about, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, you can do that, I guess."
I like playing against cities.
Yeah,
I'm like, you just gotta trust the cities player. Like I don't know what your army does anything if you tell me it does.
yeah, and the fact that they used to have I'm just going to bring a unit back and I can bring it back at full health eventually was a pretty neat was a pretty neat mechanic, but they got the slap on the wrist for that in 4th edition.
That bringing units back to full. That was a Soulblight rule too. You use that against me with your wolf spam. Where
Yes.
you bring back a model and then you'd be like, all right, and then this thing gives me D3 models and I can go over the unit limit, and it's like, what the hell kind of?
Oh, the old Vikros. Yes,
Yeah,
old
yeah.
Vikros. Your wolves could go over the max limit. Yes.
Yeah.
I miss that. Don't get me started on that.
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
Even though I won every game that we played like that because I was playing ignore shooting Luminath or ignore ward Luminath.
Ignore
Hate
rule
that.
Luminous at that
Yo,
point.
I mean,
Time.
that's just Luminath.
Ignored rules. Yeah.
Well, starting
Good
off with
cheat
our
to win.
what's up?
You cheat to win. That's how you win
Yeah.
Warhammer, right?
Yeah,
Your army cheats, and whoever cheats the best wins.
Exactly. But that's why I only play armies that have access to a 5-up board. Just cheat. Just cheat. Oh, you did
Great.
damage to me? Hold on a sec. Nope.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Nice try, bud. All right, we'll go into our first question here, Alex. Flesh Eater Courts always had this dual identity, deluded noble courts versus terrifying cannibal hordes. How do you think the new Battletome struck the balance between reinforcing the lore theme and updating their on-table mechanics?
I think they've struck it pretty well. The delusion mechanic is interesting because it constantly shifts the way that your army plays per turn. And what you have access to per turn changes. And it feels like you have this like these horde of ghouls now. Like you actually have ghouls, which is interesting for once. You're not just spamming knights because they're efficient. There's reasons to bring ghouls, and the way that they're going to play on the defense versus the offense is going to shift based on which rule you pick. And it actually feels like you have this like horde that you're barely controlling, particularly with the delusion roles. And it gives a lot of flavor to the army. It's also fun. Feel like we have a lot of the flavorful rules, which is nice. Things like Usha's War Scroll spell to just make you bonk your friend. It's my favorite spell in the game, and I will cast it every single time, even if it's not the best decision.
So unique too.
Because it's great. A lot of times it does nothing, but the times that like I can still remember the times that it's spiked and done like insane things, and like those are the reasons you play Warhammer is because of rules like that. Because those are the things that like even like I'm thinking about games like a year ago where I got it on like on Altharian and I made him do like 15 damage into his own guys, and then Oosh killed him before he could swing. I'm just like, he was on my team the whole time. Not a lot of other armies have rules like that, where they actually feel fluffy and flavorful. So I think they're really kind of hitting the balance right here.
Nice. And then, for those that maybe aren't that familiar with Flesh Eater Courts, my understanding is that prior to the new book, your delusions were exclusively on Usharan. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. You didn't really have a concept of delusions
Okay.
as much. I mean, you kind of did with Usharan's War Scroll, but it was basically pick your buff.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it didn't feel the same way that it feels now.
Awesome. Okay. Fair enough. So, before Usharan used to have on his War Scroll, you'd have like a buff, an army-wide buff that you'd give out to your list, based on what you chose every single turn. Now there's a new battle trait. It's called Kingdom Deluded. At the beginning of each turn, you pick from one of the delusions. There are, I believe, 2 set delusions that you have access to.
So you have all time.
Yeah, 2 you have all the time. Rather you have access to, and then all heroes now have a delusion on their War Scroll, and you can switch to those delusions based on what you roll on the dice. On a 1 or 2 at the start of each turn, you have to switch to a different delusion. 3 or 4, you have to pick the same one that you had last turn. 5 or 6, you can pick any delusion that you want. I think it's a pretty cool mechanic. It really feeds into that thematic of the Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah.
Always super cool. Alex,
Which
has that kind of changed how you've approached building lists, knowing that your army does change pretty much how it, like you said, how it functions turn to turn? Has that changed how you pick like your heroes for what regiments you want to take at all? Like, I really want to land on this. I want redundancy with these 2 characters. Like, how does that influence looking at what you take to lead regiments in your armies?
Yeah. It influences a lot. Because if you don't have the delusion that you want or need at the right turn, it kind of does feel like you don't have actually a battle trait. They're that powerful, and the random nature of the roll can really influence the way that your army is performing. Which is why you see a lot of Usharan in lists, because he helps you control it a bit more. Which we can get into the specifics of that. But there are ways to mitigate around it. You can pick heroes that have very similar delusions. Something like the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Zombie Dragon and the Gore Warden. Their delusions are functionally identical. There's a little nuance in how they work, but they're basically giving you +1 or +2 to charge. And so it's a matter of, okay, if I'm just going to bounce between those two and I just want charge bonuses, I'm good. I don't really have to worry about it too much. But if there's something critical that you need, you kind of have to plan around it, and you have to really think about what you're bringing. And I think it's interesting because it's also then from a hero perspective, like you pick heroes based on which delusions you want. And so that's really going to depend on what you expect to face at tournaments, and in your local meta. It's really going to change. Because if I think about someone like the Arch Regent, he has a -1 to shoot, to -1 to hit for shooting delusion. With some of the things that are king right now, I'm thinking of cities, KO, obviously very strong shooting armies. But if the game changes and they're no longer as powerful, maybe you don't need him. And so it gives you a lot to think about when you look at these delusions, because they're very strong. Of what do I need in my list, and what does my list need to kind of account for, and what am I going to run into? So it's actually fun to, as I was alluding to earlier, when you're thinking about putting together something, you have a lot more to think about than this is obviously the right answer. Which is kind of where we were at the index stage of, like, you knew what the right answer was, and like this is the list that you take.
Sure. Which delusion has become your new favorite?
It's the 4-inch redeploy. Minimum 4-inch redeploy is just so good. Because you're now changing, if you're positioning right and you're anticipating things correctly, you're changing 3-inch charges into 7s, which is just so good. And you can
Yeah.
just have complete control of that. And that has absolutely swung me some games. And it's one of the few ones where it's that the like minimum 4 works on redeploy abilities. So not a lot of people are anticipating it. That's like my go-to defensive one.
Honestly,
Although
that's
I
pretty
know,
fantastic.
oh, it's great. I know a lot of people that I talk to, though, they're pretty high on the Gourmet delusion, which we'll get into, because that's definitely a slant build.
Sure. I mean, who doesn't like extra damage, right?
Yeah.
Free
Who doesn't
damage.
like free damage is great.
Sweet. Well, going to the next question. In terms of match play, what kind of role do you see the Flesh Eater courts filling in the current meta?
They're definitely a glass cannon army. I think they're a little overtuned right now, just with points. Some things are too cheap.
Okay.
But I think they're gonna be a mid-table bully. Some armies are just not equipped to deal with what we can do. I'm thinking of Corn. For example, will have a very hard time. Predominantly combat-focused armies are going to have a hard time dealing with our recursion and how hard we can hit. We're very soft, so we need to hit first, and then we die, and then we come back in someplace annoying that you can't get to. And so it's interesting of like, your Iron Jaws, your Corns, your slow moving melee armies are going to have a very hard time dealing with us. But the people who can deal with us are not necessarily, I don't think are going to have an issue once some of the things that are overperforming are kind of addressed. Because we'll die in droves. Like we're on like 5-up saves for the most part with a 6-up ward. You hit us with anything first, and our guys die.
Mm-hmm.
What stands out to you as something that might be just a little bit undercosted?
Definitely Crypt Guard. Mostly because they can synergize well with Gourmet, obviously get that free damage. But they, a unit of 20 is 200 points. They have 61 attacks, 4 crit auto. So you should get 20 wounds if all of them are swinging, with rend 1 or 2, depending on if they were charged. And they have a 3-up fight first if you charge them for 200 points. Like it's a little too good. And right now it's like you compare them with ghouls who are 160 point for 20. You're like, well, for 40 more points, I should just take Crypt Guard who do everything.
Yeah.
So it's like I have lists now. It's like I'm getting 60 of them for 600 points for 180 attacks.
60 wounds, man. It's just a lot of weight. And I also see a lot of people online are talking about, like, you made the comparison of guard to ghouls. A lot of armies, at least surf ones, are like, we could just take both. We're cheap enough, just run both of them. They pretty much do similar jobs. Crypt Guard have a bit more of the utility in their war scrolls, but you just have weight of bodies, weight of dice for dirt cheap. And they're like, yeah, just do the same damn thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's great. The other one,
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other unit that stands out is Horrors. They got a massive glow up. They are ridiculous. And if you're running the extra rend on the charge sub faction, which is my new favorite one, they're rend 2 base, rend 3 into cav. They do 4 to 8 mortals before combat even starts. And you only need one unit in combat, one model in combat with the unit you want to do mortals into to pump all your mortals into them. They're my new favorite thing because they're just devastating. I recently got them into some cavalry, and they just do so much damage. It's ridiculous. They're so good. They're fragile though. If they don't swing first, you're gonna lose 3 to 4 before they get to actually attack.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, their army is squishy, but good lord, does it look like it just hits like a freight train every time it gets to activate?
Yeah, and so that's the interesting thing is how do you figure out how to deliver your missile, and you have multiple different missiles that you can pick from, and you just figure out how to deliver it. That's the new name of the game, and just swing first.
Charnel Throne helps with that that movement though.
That thing is ridiculous.
I don't know how that passed QC, bro.
It is. It's definitely one of the best faction terrains out there. That will quickly be a 20-point tax.
Sure.
It's a bit of a challenge though for list building. You always got to figure out who's sitting on the throne, because you need someone sitting on the throne turns 1 through 3 basically. And so you're really playing most of the game with like 1900 points because you need a 100-point foot hero sitting up there. But that extra movement it's worth it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What tell me about Morbeg Knights. Like, did they do them dirty, or are they still worth taking? Like,
I don't I don't think they did them dirty necessarily. The reason that Mortbag Knights were the best unit in the index version is because every single other rule synergized with them. If you're talking about Feeding Frenzy, which gave all of our units +1 attack, well, Morbeg Knights had 2 profiles, so they got +2 attacks because it affected companion weapons. They were our only like non-monster unit on a 4-up save, and so they could save stack with Usharon's buff, and so you could get them to be really tanky. You could also recur them very easily with your points, so with your Noble Deed points previously. So all of your rules were screaming at you of spam these guys because every single other rule synergized with them in a way that it didn't synergize with horrors. It didn't synergize with flayers as much. Didn't synergize with the ghouls as much. And so it was just kind of screaming at you to take Morbegs. Now they've tweaked Morbegs rules a bit, but really what they did is they changed everything else around Morbegs. And so now there's not as much synergy as there was before with the index version. And so they're a lot less potent than they were previously. Most lists that I write these days, I don't take them. That's primarily just because they're overcosted because they were oppressive in the index. I think once they come down in cost a bit, they'll have a right place. But you're probably only ever going to see 6 in a list and not 18 like we saw before.
Fair enough. So they're on the apology tour. Got it.
Basically. They have new rules. I mean, they get a retreat in the enemy turn now, which is interesting because then they get to move 12 to 14 inches at the end of your turn, potentially steal something. Like there's some interesting play there, but it's not as good as it was previously, and that again, that's more to do with all the other rules changing, less so the Morbegs themselves changing.
Fair. Yeah, that's totally fair. That you can snatch up objectives like that, you know.
We have 3 units now that can move end of your turn before you score your points, and potentially ruin your day.
Jesus. All right.
Man.
Well, let me ask you this next question here. What change or new unit in the book do you think is going to surprise people the most for whatever reason, whether it's raw power, flexibility, or maybe just how it changes the play style of list building?
Yeah, I think it, like we talked about, the horrors and the crypt guard. I think people are going to be surprised by the amount of output that they have, because people haven't been playing them for the last 18 months, and as much. They were still hitting tables a bit. So people are going to be seeing them now a lot more, and they have a lot of output. Like I said, if they get to swing first, you're still always going to see Usharon. I think for most competitive lists, he's still auto include. There's
Okay.
there's a brief 3 days where we thought, hey, maybe we don't need him. But now having more games under my belt, I'm like, you really want the control of the delusion that he brings. You really need it in turns 1, 2, and 3. 4 or 5 are kind of a crapshoot anyways, in terms of what's happening on the board. But you really want what he brings to the table. What you're not going to be seeing, I think that's going to surprise people, is the Merrill Scroll. I think with the changes, he was one of our boogeymen with the index because he had a 3-up. My whole army fights first before your army, which that could totally swing games. His rule has been tuned down a lot to the point that with his current war scroll, I think he's kind of unplayable.
Oof.
So it's a little interesting. There's a couple units like that. Him and the Vargolf got done a bit dirty in terms of there's really not a role for them in comparison to every single other unit that you have. But another one that got an interesting glow up is the Flares. And it's not so much that
I'm
they
glad
got
you
a
brought
glow
it
up, it's that
I'm glad. Yeah. So the first game I played against new Flesh Eater Courts was a Nurgle game against Justin from the Discord, and he had a pack of 6 Flayers. And I didn't know what they did until they shot my Lord of Afflictions off the board with the Infernal Courtier. Is it the Infernal Courtier? Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Infernal Courtier. They're interesting. The thing I've ran a list with them for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 games now. They're very swingy. Because that to get so if you don't know what their rule is, it's basically they have a hero version, and the hero's rule is I shoot a guy. If I do any damage to him, any flares that now shoot that guy, they go up to damage 2. And a 6-pack of flares is 25 shots, 4s, 3s, run 2, potentially 2 damage. It's potentially, yeah. The run 2 is nice. It used to be our only run 2. So it's pretty spicy. The thing is though, it's the courtier only has 4 shots, and he hits on 4s. So he should only get 1 to 2 wounds. So you're gambling with that. But when it hits, Rich is right. It demolishes when it hits.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how much like flexibility that unit has with its shooting, because its shooting is Ren 2 regardless of what you're targeting. So it's not like combat attacks where you're like, oh well, this guy's anti-infantry or this guy's anti-monster, this guy's anti-hero. It's nope. They're just, listen, if that guy did any damage to you, and it is allocated, which means that I believe it needs to pass your wards too.
It does. Yeah, it does.
So it's not like a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. 4 shots are very easy to miss on, especially hitting on 4s. But let's say you're shooting it into a unit of clan rats. You're probably going to do a damage to those clan rats. And then the flayers are going to pick up a unit of clan rats, because 25 attacks, 4s and 3s, Ren 2 into clan rats is just, it's going to lift a lot of rats. A lot. And
oh yeah, it's great. It's so good.
It'll do it to monsters too. Like, that's the thing. Like, 25 attacks, 4s and 3s, Ren 2 into a monster will kill a lot of monsters. Maybe not on average, but at least I would say 33% of the time you're gonna kill most monsters you're looking at if they don't have a 6 or 5 up ward. Unless they're like Gargants, obviously. But even Gargants like get melted by that. You know, 1 unit shooting could take out a whole Gargant if you get lucky. Like, that's insane.
Oh yeah,
it's true. It's true.
What's also interesting is with the courtier, proccing the ability, you don't have to do it until it's once per turn army, but you don't have to do it until after the shooting. So you can have 2, and you can have 2 bites at the apple to try to get the +1 damage.
Interesting.
Because the declare step only requires, in fact, you can't even use it until you've done damage. Because the declare step itself requires you to pick an enemy unit that had damage points allocated. So, like, you don't declare it until you've allocated damage. So it's if you've got 4 of them, I mean, not that you should run 4 of them, but I'm using a very broad example of a very like unreasonable example. But if you had 4 of them, you've got 4 attempts to get those 6 crypt players up to damage 2, and 16 shots at 4s and 3s is not nearly as hard.
No, well, what's interesting though, of if you run 2 Infernal Courtiers, that means you got to bring 2 of the 2-man packs for MSU, and they're 80 points. So you can have 2, like basically you bring 4 additional flares for 80 points that get to run around and do scouting on the flanks and just be like, ignore me. I'm just over here scoring tactics while I have the big unit actually doing damage. So there's still some. I think there could be reasons to still bring 2. I think anything over 2 courtiers is you're pushing your luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even a 2-man unit of flayers is scary to a lot of foot heroes.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, like eight attacks. Like say you drop this near a foot hero, you use your D3, you use your D6. All of a sudden, you've got everyone in range. You're shooting the foot hero. Yeah, you're -1 to hit, but you maybe offset it with an all-out attack. And eight shots or 9 shots because they have a champion in a 2-man unit. I assume?
They do.
Yeah, so 9 shots.
Yep.
5s and 3s, but every single one of those that goes through is Ren 2 and 2 damage, and that's like that'll lift a lot of foot heroes too. Just that specific 2-man unit. We're not even talking about the full 6-pack anymore. We're talking about you bought a Coke for you and your friend, and the Coke is flayers ruining your day.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the fact that they can teleport.
My soul. My soul for a book this internally synergistic.
Well, what's great though is like we've talked about, we've 3 units, and like they're all fun and interesting in different ways. And you could build around any one of them, which this is why the book is really fun, is because there's so many things that are actually playable.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that vibe. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Why do you think crypt horrors weren't taken before? Was it a point efficiency thing? Because they had the same amount of attacks, hit, wound, rend, damage before, right?
No. They were rend 0 before. Their rule was get rend when I'm by a hero. So you had to have a hero babysit them to get their rend, to get the rend 1. And then that was it. So you were rend 1 basically. Whereas now they're viable because they're rend 2 if you're in the right sub-faction all on the charge, or rend 3 into cav. Even if you're not taking that sub-faction, they're rend 2 into cav.
Sure.
So they have a very clear role now as just the cavalry destroyers, and they're pretty good into everything else too. But it was as simple as, wow, give a unit rend and watch it be viable.
Yeah. One way they seem to have really adjusted is the units themselves aren't so heavily reliant on hero stands here. Now you can actually be the unit you wanted to be in the first place.
Yeah.
Which
there's still
back a lot of their units.
There's still a bit of that. I mean, really what it is if you look at what changed between the index and the new book is our recursion has been toned down a lot, but our rend is way up. And that was the thing that killed us before. It was like my nightmare was going into slaves or stormcast because you just bounced off before. You couldn't punch through. Now we have tools to punch through, but we're not doing the thing where it's like, oh, you killed 4 of my Morbegs. I'm just going to recur them back to 6 in my turn and charge in. We can't do that anymore, which I'm kind of glad that's gone because that was definitely a negative play experience for a lot of people of like, okay, I'm just going to undo what you just did in your whole turn, and then hit you back hard. So that's kind of where they've made the fundamental shift is they're just like, you're not going to bounce back the way you did before, but you're going to hit way harder.
Sure.
I think that.
So you don't have to.
Fair.
You don't have. Yeah, it's like you don't need to.
It's more fun too.
You don't need to recur if the enemy is already dead.
Yeah.
How is the enemy supposed to push a button if you've already driven a crypt guard through their face?
Jesus.
There you go.
All right, well, let's go through these two lists that
there's
you.
one.
Uh,
Oh, well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
we can do it as we get into I'll point it out because I think I have one in here.
Yeah, I threw. I asked you for one list, and you gave me 4. So so
We picked the one.
yeah.
That's what
Thanks,
I'm telling you, man.
Thanks,
It's
Galadriel.
it's good. It's good eating right now. There's a lot of fun to be had and a lot of things to try out. So it's nice.
Well, the ones I
Yeah.
posted here, I posted Deep Strike Fun and Ghoul Control. Walk me through each of these and tell me a little bit about what's going on in your brain here.
Yeah. So Deep Strike Fun, I've run this a couple times now, and this is where I was trying to figure out how many units could I realistically teleport over to you and just hit you really hard in one turn. And this was kind of the answer. So the key here is the Gore Warden. If you're not familiar with his rule, he lets you deep strike he lets you deep strike his regiment, 2 units in his regiment. And so he can pick the 2 things that are with him, which are the Crypt Horrors and the Crypt Infernal Courtier, the shooting guy we were just talking about. And they go up in the sky with him. And so this is a 4-drop list. And so that's your first drop. So your opponent then has to start putting down their stuff. If they're a 2 and a 3-drop list, they're going to have to put down their regiments. They really won't be able to split here because if you see, I only have 3 more drops, but 2 of those additional drops are just single foot heroes. And they're just going next to the throne in order to do the move trick. And so you get to see with this every single place where your opponent is putting down their things before you put down any model that you actually care about. And the models that you care about really is just Usharon. You have a reinforced unit of flares, the 2 model unit of flares because you have the courtier. They're your only screen. This is the only dangerous part. You have one screen unit that are around 50 millimeters. You're playing on a knife's edge with this list. And then the zombie dragon. And the zombie dragon is the unit that I'm actually probably falling in love with the most because I did not play him at all prior to the new book.
Sure.
And he's gotten such a glow up. His rule is he just gets to teleport wherever he wants. It's outside of 9, normal stuff, but the thing about that's really good is if you're unfamiliar with the faction train rule, what the faction train says is I pick a model I can see anywhere on the board. So as long as there's not a building in between me and that model, I point at it. If it hasn't been set up, it can move D3. If it has been set up, it moves D6. And so the zombie dragon can drop down anywhere. He then moves D6, so on average 3 inches. So he's now 6 inches away, and you can pretty easily be +1 to charge. And his shooting attack it's spiky, but it's nice. But then his claws, he does a lot. And he has the monstrous trait from Sagi that gives him 2d3 healing at the end of every turn. And so,
Wow.
yeah,
That's busted.
if an opponent doesn't kill him basically in 1 turn, he just heals back up and he teleports someplace else and does the whole thing again. So what I like to do with this list is turn 1, you're sending in the zombie dragon to kind of break up the formation, hopefully pick off something, get a key foot hero, clear something, just to start to make your opponent actually have to move And then turn 2. So in your opponent's turn 1, hopefully they're stuck dealing with the zombie dragon. Ideally, he lives to turn 2, but maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. That's just usually luck of the dice. Turn 2 is the go turn, and that's when the Gore Warden pops down with the Crypt Horrors. The Crypt Horrors, when they come down, they're outside of 9, but then they get to move that D6, like we just said. So they get to move close. You're going to pop the Gore Warden's Delusion, and so they're going to be +2 on the charge. The Infernal Courtier is with them, who has Cruel Taskmaster, who can automatically give them a reroll. Now you have to call that reroll in advance. It's not a reaction like the command, but you're basically saying, okay, my horrors are getting in. Because we're 6 inches away with +2 to charge, and we get a guaranteed reroll. Your flayers, your 6-pack of flayers, get to teleport over to the Infernal Courtier, and when they teleport over there, if they teleport by that hero specifically, they get to move D3. So they then come upon you.
Oh wow!
And so you're
Yeah.
basically, you can drop 1,000 points just on your opponent anywhere they are, and you're going to be 6 to 7 inches away with +2 to charge. And with this one, you're in the nightly sub-faction, and so you're +1 rend on the charge. So your horrors are rend 2 to 3, depending on what you're hitting. Your flayers, they're rend 2 in the shots, and they're rend 2 in combat. The list it's really fun. I don't think it's the most competitive because you're on a knife's edge. If you don't get everything out of that turn 2 that you need, you're just kind of out of position and exposed, and you just die.
Yeah,
But if you,
I see this getting shot by cities cannons a lot. If they don't, assuming even you go first, like cities is so defensible with Sinestro, but obviously maybe that goes away in the battle scroll, so like it might be more viable. But like I could definitely see cities having a fun time just going, hey, there's a lot of models there that I get to shoot.
So the only counter that you have to that is that the 6-pack of flayers and the zombie dragon, you can just put them on opposite corners.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do their movement with a teleport. So you could have them be far away. You can like basically have it like there's no realistic range to get to them. So you can mitigate it a bit that way. But to your point, I think the things that are at the top right now, cities, KO, this list isn't designed to deal with them, but against everything else, it's a lot of fun.
For sure.
Oh yeah, it gatekeeps pretty well, like in a higher echelon kind of table, and like you said, you're on a knife's edge, and you're on a knife's edge with an army that majority is hitting on a 4+. So that go turn is, I'm gonna just hope I roll more 4+s than you can roll saves, because it's one combat. It could go one combat wrong, and I could see that, or a debuff anywhere is like, oh, and now we're sad.
Yeah. Well, also you just all out attack with
Distance and army is like, we have no save. Screw it.
Yeah, we're on a 5-0. I don't care. Like I'm not gonna try to roll 6s and 6s. It's like I'm gonna try to obliterate you before you hit me.
I need to even worry about making saves.
Yeah.
No.
Well, what I think is really cool about this list too is because you actually threw this list at me not too long ago, is that it kind of forces your opponent to either turtle up or just make really bad decisions, right? And like, so in the case of like when you faced me, I was like, well, I have to decide whether or not Alex is going to go into me turn 1, and I'm like, I have to assume that since half his stuff's in the sky, sure, I'm gonna start with -1 to be hit, and then you were just like, okay, then I just won't come back. I just won't come down this turn, and then now turn 2, that buff is gone. You're like, all right, here we go. Here's the whole army. You know, and the thing that made me feel good about it is that even afterward you said, yeah, if you hadn't picked that tide, I would have gone into you turn one. I would have
Okay.
just full set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also
Okay.
oddly enough. This is Arby's like, oh, I have all these deep strike shenanigans. I can do all this crazy stuff, which accelerated combat. But I'm also really good at just conveniently doing scouting force because
Yeah.
I'm built to do it anyway.
Yep.
I'm just
This-
gonna do it.
So that's the thing that is gonna, I think, keep us in the upper echelon for a while. Is we're really good at scouting. We have lots of cheap infantry that moves fast, and it just makes
Teleports.
scouting.
Yeah.
And
Cheap
we get,
starts on the table that can teleport, which is very important.
yeah, and it's and I don't know. I think it was last week's Warhammer Weekly when they were going through the battle tactics that win the most, and it's scouting and it's restless, and it's like, yeah, because all my scouts also come back, and they can come back usually next to terrain pieces. So honestly, as soon as I scored the first scouting, that's the hardest one. As soon as I score that, the other two are cakewalks. The only way you can stop them is by killing all my heroes.
Yeah. You have a whole game to score 2 other battle tactics at that point because your army's just gonna eventually do it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that. I don't think I'll be running like that list is fun. And I think it is like a mid-table bully list, but it's not. I think I'm done with it because it is, that go turn. You're squeezing both cheeks, hoping you make those charges, even with everything you do to like mitigate against them. If you don't get it, it's bad.
It also feels a little light on bodies. Just for like
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah, he definitely cares. Whichever model dies, you care a lot.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I like the second list a lot more as something that could potentially be competitive. This is something that I'm thinking about. I'm hoping to get a couple games in before Dragonfall with this. Of This is a list that can't do any of the things that I just described. But it's just a whole lot of ghouls.
I mean,
You can see that
you can do that zombie dragon thing.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
he's
He's still
I keep
doing it.
throwing. I'm still throwing in. I love him. He's so good. I'm throwing him into everything. Uh, and particularly the thing that makes this list work is Felgrin, which is the new hero. And his delusion it's just kind of nuts. It's if you're in combat with serfs, so any of the ghouls, monsters, non-hero, or beasts, you're -10 to your control score. And so with
Jesus.
him, you can now, yeah, three ghouls can steal a point from like 2 units because they're both
Sounds
going to
good.
be 1 control score each, and it's just like out of a pack of 20, I'm like, yeah, 3 will live after combat. 3 will live. They're going to take a point. Or the
Yeah,
zombie
that's
dragon
good,
just
man.
got to go in by himself, and he's control
What you
5.
need.
You could have 4 units on a point, and he can come and take it from you, just by himself.
This is the
I would-
control score shenanigans that we've needed in this game for a while. Is just
I would-
radical numbers.
I would probably crash out a little bit if I had my stone horn there and I was like, aha, I took the point. I count as 10. You're like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, you're 1 right now. You're
Yeah.
1.
Yeah. The only
Two ghouly boys.
The only real counter to that is you just save that command point for power through. You know.
He's gotta eat him, man.
combat.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you have to be in combat for that to work.
You have to be in combat for that to work. So I think it's actually you use it more on your turn. You don't use it as a defensive Obviously it's going to
Yeah.
depend on the game state,
Yeah.
but it's more of
Well,
like, I want to go take this point from you. Like, I don't care what's there. I'm going to throw 2 units at you. I'm going to throw 2 MSU units. You're going to have to split attacks to deal with them. A couple of them are probably going to be alive. And they're just going to take that point.
Love it. Absolutely.
And
love
you
it.
got
But then
and-
Felgrin does what Felgrin does, which is turns off words for you, and all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh, I really punch through now, even with tools."
Yeah. For the you have 2 ward turnoffs in this list. You have Felgrin, so you're going to use him for a target where you're sending in your 20 crypt card. Because like I said before, you should get 20 wounds run 1, on your base profile without buffs, and you have buffs.
I just had a fucking crazy, like, oh my god moment looking at this list, because earlier, because I've been kind of following along with you with the a PDF I have of some of the leaked rules, leaked, but like, but it's out in the open, but I don't have access to it anyway. And so when you were like, oh, crypt guard at 200, they're a little undercosted, and I'm looking at the crypt guard and I was like, 200 points for this seems. What is he? I'm like, what is he talking about? I was like, sure, we can talk about that later. And then I was like, oh, you meant reinforce.
Yeah.
They're 100 points.
Yeah, they're
oh no.
They're thrall costed, baby.
I was like, oh no.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you 3 attacks each, so you're like 61 attacks for a unit of 20. 81 attacks if you pop Freeing Frenzy. You can give them +1 to wound pretty easily. You can give them, and obviously they're on a 6-up save, so you're just all out attacking. So you're on 3s crit auto wound. They're Ren 1 base. They have anti-charge though, so if you charge them, they're Ren 2, and they have a 3-up fight first if you charge them.
Yeah.
Oh, that is hot, man.
Yeah,
that's hot. That's hot shit.
The only downside
when I saw
the only downside to the 3-up is if you don't kill the unit that you've just slapped into, you don't get to make any wards. But like,
you don't care.
Again, when is that ever going to happen with 61 attacks when you're fighting first? Like, it's never happening.
Yeah.
See, I thought the downside you were gonna go with is it's a 3-up, and that's the only downside is I got to roll for this. But it's all bread and butter at that point. It's like whatever.
And the 3-up, the only stipulation is that they're in combat with something that charged, so they can counter charge and do the 3-up. So they have play there too.
We love counter.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if you fail it, you're like, I still got a 5-up board.
6.
Well, no,
5 or 6,
assuming there's a hero.
Depending on
5 or 6.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's probably a hero but yeah, 5 or 6, and you're still anti-charge and crit out a wound. It's still good.
A lot of times, I like the way that I'm thinking about it now is like, I don't even care if there's a hero there or not. Like,
that's fair.
my goal is to get one of the units to fight first, ideally. And if they die, I don't care. I'm just going to bring them back to score scouting in your territory next turn. It is a lot of the thought process. So they're a wild unit. It's hard to tell between like them and horrors, which got the better glow up, because again, like I said, the horrors are there because they're the ones that can actually deal with the things that the ghouls aren't equipped to deal with. But and Ushran a bit, but Ushran, anyone who's played Ushran knows that he's a bit of a jobber sometimes and will just do nothing.
Every hat and then take them all off at any point during the game. He's like, and I am done for today. I finished.
It's literally gotten to the point where like I meme on Ushran so bad. Like I tried doing it last night, but Trevor and Sam weren't having any of it because they were like, yeah, Ushran swings and it's just gonna lift that. Is that okay? And I was like, no, roll it. I was like, do you have any idea how many ones I've seen all my how many ones I've seen all my friends Usherans roll for some reason. Like, no, roll the fucking dice.
He's got to keep up the delusion in front of everyone, and part of that is like he has to fail. Like he's just got to do it. He's got to convince everyone that he is crazy, even though he's the only one that's not.
In Trevor and Sam's defense, in that particular case, Usheran had already made those 6 Bladegeist Revenants fight last, and then there was a unit of Crypt Horrors and a unit of Crypt Guard that were in combat with them as well. So it wasn't so much like, oh, we think Usheran's going to lift it. It's like, no, one of these 3 will. All 3 of them
roll
will.
It out.
I'm just...
Roll it out. I even almost made Justin crash out once because like he was like, Usheran should be able to lift this last Mornfang. And I was like, roll it out. He's like, really? I'm like, roll it. And he rolls it and he whiffs all of the scepter attacks. And he's like, what the fuck's going on right now?
That's also when we only have 4 attacks, the bell curve is kind of small. And so you're gonna experience every part of that bell curve.
Yeah.
It's all part of the plan, man. He's gotta do it. If he doesn't do it, then people are gonna figure out that he's lying, and it's really upsetting.
Yeah,
can't let that happen.
So,
he's got an ego to maintain.
I love this list. I love this Crypt Guard list. I love that it has bodies.
Yeah, I love your Gold Patrol list. If I had to deal with this list right now, with Ideneth, with obscuring the way it is, I don't know, man. There's a like I would put on a happy face, but in the back of my head I'd be going, this is bullshit, and I just want this game to be over already.
Yeah. I get that. It's
I gotta Tormentor bombard this as hard as humanly possible, and then just pray that somehow enough, because there's just gonna be a sea of green cannibals who think that I am wheat to be chaffed from the fields and want my bones.
Yeah, I have to hope that I can catch you on a plan where I can actually do stuff to you, like linked ley lines. If I caught you on linked ley lines, I actually have a shot at beating you. But there's like just some maps where it's like, here's 4 wildwoods and 4 places of power. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, as long as these wildwoods aren't flat, I should be okay.
Yeah, if these wildwoods are randomly Mitch's maps and have impassable trees in the center, maybe there's a problem.
I don't know who told him that was a good idea. I want to talk to Mitch. Hey Mitch.
Clearly it was for this specific scenario.
Yeah.
So Alex can't go ham.
Impassable obscuring Mitch? That's not even in the book.
Oh, it's a new game. He's making a new game. That's right.
Yeah, dude. It's our own terrain rules now.
There a couple things. So I think the Ghoul Control list is like a more like sustainable list. A couple things that we haven't talked about is like Gourmain with Stumblefoot. This is the thing that a lot of people are going crazy about, and that you're probably going to see until you're going to see that for like the next 3 months. So Gourmain's delusion is if a Flesh Eater Court hero takes any damage, all of the serfs and knights get +1 damage in a 12-inch bubble.
Yeah. I'm taking that to Holy Wars. Yeah.
Stumblefoot can do damage to friendly units. So he can go up, puke on your own friendly heroes to do a mortal to them. Hopefully you don't.
We can just
your ghouls.
You can just opt to not take the ward, right?
No, you have to roll.
Wards are passive. You have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So he pukes, and now on your turn, you can now make your ghouls that have those 61 attacks. Those are now damaged too. So that you're going to see a lot of that for a while. I don't really feel like buying a baby and building that, so I won't be running that. But for tournament lists, I think you're going to see a lot of that, because that is just kind of.
What did you say? Buying a what?
The baby Gargant.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I'm I'm taking him to Holy Wars. You have you done Holy Wars yet, Alex?
First time will be in a couple weeks now.
So there's a mechanic at Holy Wars called Holy Wounds, and all the tables have them, and they are meant to be oppressive. Like the table is trying to absolutely table you, almost as hard as your opponent is. And so this is gonna like accusations of regicide is gonna trigger every time, every turn. My knights are gonna be 2 damage. GG, bro.
Oh, dude, ghouls, bring ghouls. Weight of dice, man. Weight of dice is better.
No, I'm me and the wife are committed to the theme of my cavalry think that they're Talia's honor guard, and so so I'm bringing 12 knights. Obviously not as good as a shit ton of crypt horrors, but I'm not there to try to table my opponent. We're there for the theme, and the theme is the delusion. The delusion is strong. I think I'm Talia's honor guard, and she's just like, let him have it.
Let them fight.
Better them than us.
Yeah. Our team name is I think it's Talia's totally real honor guard.
Totally real, not delusional at all, honor guard.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to be citizens, and then they just they changed sides.
Exactly.
To be fair, I think they used to be Bretonians more than anything else. Doesn't make them citizens.
Well,
they're French.
They make that's true. They make it's funny in the Usharan book that came out a few months ago. Is like most of the ghouls come from cities.
Okay.
They spike the well. They spike the well with his blood, and then the city just like overnight transforms and starts eating each other.
And he loves watching it.
Yeah, he's a bit weird in that book. But like good weird. It's interesting.
Usharan's lore has just been the most intriguing thing to see, because for a long while it's like, wow, he's this crazed lunatic and everyone's just getting infected, and he's actually, and then you learn much later on, much deeper into the lore of the book, he's like, nah, he's completely sane. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't understand why they think that he's insane, but he's like, whatever. I gotta keep this up. It lets me do what I want, and I don't need to be doing what Nagash wants me to do right now. So fuck it.
Well, so it's interesting in the book. The book is worth a listen to if you have like a spare Audible credit. If only just for his sections, is like in those parts in the book he's under the delusion, and so for that period of time, like he thinks he's just like a normal king and he's doing what's right for his people as he does these horrifying things. It's real. He doesn't have enough chapters, but his chapters are really interesting. And so I would recommend perusing.
Sure. What's the book called?
It's just Usharan.
Okay.
That came out a few months ago.
Connor, I might have to change my name in Broken Ranks, because based on your description, I might be the Usharan of Broken Ranks. Like, I don't know why I'm good at this game. I don't know why people think I'm good at this game. I don't know why I'm in charge of Broken Ranks. What the fuck's going on? But I gotta keep it up.
If they start learning, well, that's so Gormain, I think it's in his lore that Gormain is aware that Usharan is not crazy, but he needs to keep believing, let Usharan know that he doesn't know that, because he's like, I will die, because he cannot let anybody know that this man has some level of cognizance. Else everything goes out the window, because that opens Nagash to pretty much take over. And he's like, oh, you will bend to me. I could figure this out. Like, the reason he gets to do what he wants is because he's convinced Nagash he's insane, even though about 95% of the time he's actually not. He's completely aware of what he does.
I just love the concept that, like, like Usharon's sitting on his throne, chilling, like reading a book, like thinks he's all by himself.
Yeah.
Gourmet just walks into the room, and like they make eye contact. Like Gourmet's looking at him, just like sitting here reading a book, looking like a normal. I mean, he's obviously a giant hideous ghoul, but like doing normal human, like I'm reading a book on my throne, and then like both of them have to play it off like they weren't just aware of what happened. So Gourmet's like
Yeah.
what the hell? And then Usharon has to like start throwing the book around the room, and it's just like a Benny Hill skit, just for no reason, just so that
Mhm.
both can keep up the delusion for themselves. Like, oh, it's great. I love that.
Mhm.
Like
and-
Usharon just slowly turns the book upside down, and the Gourmet's like, "That's better."
Well, because I think Gourmet is like on Nagash's side of things. He's trying to help, like guide Usha's like, no, let's follow the god of death. Come on, let's go. But
There's a
Usharan
plan.
doesn't want to, so he's finding some ways. He's like, damn it. I know he's bullshitting, but I have no way of proving that he's bullshitting.
Right.
I
Gourmet
love
is the rules lawyer. I get it.
Yeah, because Nagash will never fucking believe him. Because he's dealt with Usharan for so long, being
It is
insane.
bullshit.
He's convinced there's no other way explanation.
I mean, to be fair, would you really listen to a guy
Um,
who's wearing a wig made of entrails? I wouldn't.
He's aware. That's the fun part. He knows that they're actually entrails, and he's like, "Yep, I gotta do this. It's for the bit."
Yeah, I'm just saying. Would you?
Does he have a wig guy though? Like it can't be the same wig. Like they kind of have to like it has to fall
I'm
apart,
sure
right?
there's somebody that he
You would
goes
hope-
to, and he's like,
You would hope that it
"Get
can't be
this
the same
prepared
wig.
for me." God, this is disgusting. You guys are fucking gross. All right, time to do my job.
My favorite piece though is the new Falcon guy. So he can like control and command the monsters and like the bats. But nobody knows how he's doing it. Like literally Ushran himself has no idea how he does what he does. But he's like, you know what? The High Falconer. You're now in charge of all these things. I don't know how it works, but you're gonna do it. And his little like pet bat token that he comes with, it's a new one every single time. But he thinks it's the same bat every single time.
Doesn't he also
That's really-
believe that it's also a bird? Like he just has a bunch of birds following around. Like even though big
Yeah.
things like that's just a really big bird, and it's the fucking
Yes.
zombie dragon flying around.
It's ridiculous. It's so fun. It's like it's the silliest stuff in Flesh Eaters. But to circle back, the other thing that we haven't talked about is the a Born Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
Oh Lord
The
have mercy.
bane of what I've heard of many people as of late. Like that's the I'm going to delete thing button.
He slaps so hard because you can just like pour all of your traits into him. And with the priest, you can make a +2 to chant. And so you can get to 10 ritual points pretty easily. And when you get to 10 ritual points for a hero, you can make them fight twice. It's normal like fight twice stuff, but do your normal fight, then your fight lasts second time. But if you do that to the Terrorgeist in the go turn and he's like juiced out and you have everything, you can have his Maw attack, which is 4s, 2s, run 2, D3 +3 damage, crit mortals. You can have 8 attacks on that if you have everything juiced out. And you're fighting twice with that. And you also that's his first profile. You have 2 more profiles.
I was about to say, is like, isn't all of his profiles also crit mortals? Like, it's just all Gamba 6s and do crap tons of damage.
Not the guy on top.
Not the guy on top, but
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
The 5 or 6 attacks up top are crit mortals, but God forbid everything else.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
threes rend 1/2 damage, so they're not exactly like they're a little bit better.
They're not nothing,
standard
but
combat character stats. Yeah, they're combat character stats.
but yeah, he like that thing slaps so hard. It can really do the work. The only problem with it is that it's a flying monster, so it can be shot from anywhere. So getting it to get into combat is really the challenge. But if they're busy shooting that thing, they're not shooting Usharon. So that's the only silver lining.
If we're not shooting those, we're not shooting the sea of ghouls that are gonna hit us in like a turn or two.
So it's really interesting because I think we've talked about now of like there's like 6 different units that are all good and viable and can be used in different combinations. And I'm hard pressed to think of another book that has like that level of combinations and like list building, where you can actually make something like unique. And if we keep getting more books like this, I'm pretty excited for where things go.
Yeah, love that for you, bro.
Yeah. Must be nice.
Sorry.
Me and Rich have talked extensively about the fact that like it feels like the Ideneth book was written by somebody who like took their job real seriously. He's like, this book needs to be fair and well point costed, and there can be nothing broken out of the gate. And that's what the Ideneth book is. But then like whoever designed like the Night Haunt, the new FEC book, they're like, somebody's like, I'm gonna break something in that book. I don't know what it is yet, but something's gonna be busted.
Yeah. I had the similar thoughts when I was reading the Ideneth book of like, there's not a lot in comparison to the FEC book. There's not as many synergies. They're hard to find. There are obviously some, but there's like things where it's like it feels like this should work this way, but it doesn't for some reason.
We have a ton of those in the Ideneth book. A ton of things that are like, here's something to give you +1 to hit, and it's like, oh, but it's only for Achillean units. It's like, oh, but that doesn't work on your mounts, so it only works on the swords on top for the eels, and you're like, why am I paying 160 points for this hero? Like, what? It works on like 3 of my attacks.
Yeah.
You get strange buffs, but then you have strange buffs scattered about. But then you also are like, but then all of my units effectively are so point efficient that they don't need terribly many to get what I'm going to expect to get out of it. Like the shark is going to do the shark thing. It's going to pay for itself, and you required nothing other than the shark. The Namarti are going to do Namarti things, and you required nothing to let them do the Namarti stuff. And that's a lot of the Ideneth book. Is everything is self-sufficient, and if you get a buff, it's candy. But it's not, we're going to push you the next step over.
I wouldn't say Namarti are standalone fine by themselves. They most assuredly need
Reavers, not thralls.
Even Reavers are really good, but I feel like they're pointed pretty fairly for what they do.
I would agree.
Yeah, everything is like literally like everything in that book just seems pointed way too fairly. That makes any sense, you know.
I wanted to not. I hope it doesn't change because it's gonna break my Holy Havoc list if they change a single point.
Yeah,
I
didn't want to get too deep in that. We got a bit delusional there on what book we're talking about today.
I know. Yeah. All right. No, fair enough.
Let's log back in.
But I mean,
next question.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the last question here. Now that we've gone through the meat and potatoes of today's podcast, let's go for our dessert question here. Alex, the courts think that they're hosting lavish feasts, but if they were actually from the Midwest, what kind of casserole or hot dish do you think they'd be serving instead of, people?
So the one that I thought of that would be like the most thematically appropriate is the chili tamale casserole, where it looks like a piece of cornbread on the top, on the surface, essentially. But then once you go underneath, you have all of this meat and vegetables and spices, and so it's a completely different thing once you actually dig your fork or spoon into it real quick. It's my favorite one that my mom ever made. It was so good.
That does sound delicious. And I ate like 2 crazy large meals today, and I'm still like, I could go for some of that right now.
Oh my god! If a pan just showed up right now, I'm like, I could eat half of that.
That's fair.
I feel like Midwest flesh eater courts, they would have like a Italian sausage casserole, right? And then like you'd be really suspicious about it. You'd be like, what's in the sausage? And be like,
Yeah.
normal
Sausage.
sausage stuff, guys. Totally not human fingers. What do you mean?
I feel like if you have to say totally not human fingers, I feel like you've given away the game.
What?
It's like
No, it's
it's the casino in New Vegas when they have to tell you that they aren't cannibals, they never were cannibals, and they'll never engage in cannibalism. They've kind of spelled it out for you. Now you have to spend the next half hour trying to prove that they are.
no, they'll serve Scott Tenorman parent chili. That is what they will serve.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Rich got it.
Do
That
like our chili.
episode is messed up, man.
And you know they're gonna and you know the flesh eater courts drink Malort and they think it's fine wine for sure.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah. They kind of have to.
So they do the thing where they're like Jaeger, I love Jaeger, but they don't say it ironically when they drink it. Like they actually love the damn shit.
I like Jaeger. Jaeger's good. You know, I could drink that all day.
See, case in point.
Obviously,
There it
Flesh Eater
is.
Court number 1.
There it is.
There it is. We figured it
Yeah.
out. That's the
He's
thing.
gonna go up to me later on. He's gonna tell me I have demons under my skin, and he's gonna help me get them out. Like he's helping me. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm just doing you a favor.
It's not his fault.
That's all they're
so
doing.
Damn tasty.
They're trapped
demons
under
are
my skin.
Did you say demons are so damn tasty?
Well, yeah, because I mean, obviously, after he gets them out from under Connor's skin, he's gonna eat them. You know.
Yeah,
He's
the whole
flesh
point.
eater.
He's
It's
like
good.
getting them out so he can
That's
eat them, so I'm safe.
Yeah.
Well, there's good nutrients in those demons.
Yeah.
Can't just waste that.
Lots of protein.
Not gonna be wasteful. You know, we got to survive the winter. Come on.
Carlos is like having a moment where he's like, "What the fuck is going on here? I don't understand any of this."
I started this. I opened this door.
Pandora's box.
I opened this door. It's true. It's true. Oh boy. All right. Well, guys, I think we did it. Alex, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Really appreciate you.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing how you finish out the season. If November, I think the second weekend of November begins a new season. Are you going to be sticking with Flesh Eater Courts, or I know you are thinking, kind of messing around with Ideneth right now? Do you think you're going to try Ideneth for the new 2026 season, or just keep going strong with Flesh Eater Courts?
Oh, that is tough. I don't know. I want to get games in with both.
Fair.
I also have Chaos Dwarfs coming. So we'll see what happens.
Don't we all? Attack of the Chorfs is coming.
Exactly.
Man,
I was
gonna be a time.
barely able to secure a box. So
yeah, that was one of the roughest pre-orders we've gone through, I think, in a long while. Like just for Age of Sigmar in general. It's like you better get that box. It was gone, I think, in half an hour or less.
I'm ready to buy everybody's infernal demon engines that people throw away after they think they're bad, but that's because they're not me. So
I
awesome.
love them.
Right.
They're great.
Hey, if
Yeah,
we get that word obscuring change, mine are not going anywhere.
All right. No, trust me, bro. Shit in this podcast.
We keep our leaks clean. Whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everybody. That is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay hungry, my ghoulish friends. And don't forget, dinner is always just one corpse away.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.